Hello everyone, this is Clarix, and today we are analyzing a sample-based measurement using the definitions of statistics and key concepts. So in this case, we are analyzing whether this word problem is a statistic or a parameter. So just to remind you, a statistic is a numerical measure from the sample, and parameter is a numerical measure from the population. So just as like a visual example, let's say, or just like letter wise. So sample, okay, is a numerical measure of statistics. A statistic is a numerical sample measure of sample. Okay, so S and S has a correlation. So a statistic provide a numerical measurement or measure from the sample, versus on the other hand, the population receives and is a numerical measurement from parameter instead. Okay, so that should have an R, but there's no space there. Let me see, parameter, not letting me write the R. Okay, let me go back a little. There you go. So as you can see, the correlation between these two, you can remember it by seeing the first letters. Okay, so parameter usually provides a numerical measure of the population. And just to remind you, the population tends to be the entire value, the entire number. Let's say, for instance, the population is the largest number. Population of people, a population of X and Y item. So usually the population is the largest number, versus the sample is a portion of that population. Okay, and just if you remember these two parts, visual parts, and let's say things that are correlated with literacy, like identify, correlating sample with a statistic, and correlating parameter with population. That way you going to remember this. And usually it's a numerical measurement. So you know that it's going to be providing numbers somehow. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Now let's go into the word problem. So here we have a software company wants to assess user satisfaction with a new app feature. They randomly selected they randomly selected 6,836 users. So that has to do with sample. Let's use another color, right? Because this is basically the sample. Let's put it a little smaller, okay? Because out of that sample, we have a population of 140,000 and 135 users, because that's what it says total here. It says total users, to fill out the feedback survey regarding ease of use. Is the proportion of the satisfied users an statistic or a parameter? So when it says proportion here, proportion is basically correlated with is the proportion of satisfied. So we need to try to understand who are the satisfied users. So they randomly selected 6,000 6,836 users from that total. And the satisfied users provides a sample. This is sort of, we are analyzing this out of this whole amount. Okay, so we already know we are working with the sample. So these are the users, and we know that sample has a correlation with a statistic. And in another word, keyword, proportion is like a smaller version of a bigger portion. So proportion is like a smaller portion, right? And an statistic or a sample, due to the reason that we are analyzing the smaller amount, and a statistic and sample has a correlation, the answer is going to be a statistic. Okay, so that's your answer. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching.